All right, let's get into it. Today, we are tackling a topic that sounds like it was ripped straight out of a science fiction movie, but believe it or not, it's becoming science fact. I'm talking about the exercise pill. Yep, it's a concept that promises all the metabolic rewards of a really tough workout without you ever having to break a sweat. So we're going to dive into the mind-blowing science, the very real dangers, and the incredible potential of these things called exercise mimetics.
I mean, that's the big question, isn't it? Just think about it for a second. A world where you could boost your endurance, fire up your metabolism, and build that fatigue resistance, all from a little capsule. Is this really the future of fitness? Or is it a super dangerous shortcut with consequences we're just now starting to wrap our heads around? Let's dig in.
You know, the appeal is it's undeniable. We've all known for decades how good exercise is for us. But let's be real, the barriers are there too, right? Not enough time, zero motivation, or even physical limitations. So this dream of capturing all those benefits, that extra energy, the metabolic health, that awesome feeling of being fit without putting in the hours, that is a powerful idea.
And really, at its core, that's exactly what an exercise mimetic is all about. This isn't about jolting your body with caffeine or some kind of stimulant. No, this is all about molecular communication. These compounds are designed to tap directly into the exact same cellular pathways that get switched on during a long run or a tough bike ride. They're essentially tricking your muscle cells into thinking they just went through an intense workout.
Okay, so how is this even possible, right? Well, this journey from a sci-fi fantasy to something real in a lab is built on decades of research into how our bodies adapt to physical stress. Scientists have spent years mapping out these incredibly complex signaling networks that basically tell our muscles, hey, time to get more efficient.
So here it is, the official definition. Exercise mimetics are basically drugs that copy the molecular effects of exercise. They go after these key metabolic regulators. Think of them like master switches for energy use inside our cells. When you work out, these switches get flipped on, telling your body to start burning fat for fuel and to build more of those little energy factories called mitochondria. Well, these drugs, they're designed to walk right in and flip those same switches directly. No workout required.
This whole field really just exploded into the public eye back in 2008. A team at the famous Salk Institute published a study that honestly just stunned the scientific world. They took a group of completely sedentary mice. We're talking total couch potatoes. And for 4 weeks, they gave them a drug called AICAR. The goal was simple, but it was also incredibly ambitious. Could they turn these lazy mice into endurance athletes without a single training session?
And the results, they were absolutely incredible. The mice that got the AICAR didn't just get a little better running on the treadmill. They went through this profound change deep down at the molecular level. The drug lit up all those key metabolic pathways, changing their actual muscle fibers to become way more resistant to fatigue, just like you'd see in a highly trained athlete.
So here's the number that made everyone's jaw drop. 44%. After just 4 weeks of getting this drug, with zero exercise, these sedentary mice could run 44% further than the mice that didn't get the drug. They were literally getting the endurance benefits of training from a pill. That study was the proof. It was possible. Now, that 2008 study was really just the spark. And let me tell you, the fire is still going strong. Today, scientists are developing these next-generation compounds that are way more sophisticated and targeted than those early drugs. This is a very, very active area of medical research right now. For instance, you've got compounds like SLU-PP332. It activates a whole family of proteins that trigger these endurance-like changes in muscle and help burn more fat. Then there's ATX304, which hits that same pathway as the original ACICAR drug, but is being looked at for a bunch of different metabolic problems. The whole point of these new drugs is to get the benefits with much more precision, and this is the big one, with a much better safety profile. And safety is where this really exciting story takes a very sharp and very serious turn. The promise of an exercise pill is just huge, but the danger is just as real. It's so easy to get caught up in the hype, but we have to face the pretty significant risks that have come up along the way.
So let's rewind back to that original 2008 paper. Remember, they tested 2 compounds. One was AICAR, but the other was a drug called GW1516. You might also hear it called cardarine. The initial goal, stated right here in their own paper, was to find drugs that could mimic exercise to help people. You can just feel the optimism coming off the page.
But here's the brutal reality check. While GW1516 showed these amazing endurance-boosting effects, its development was shut down
Completely stopped. Why? Because in long-term studies on animals, they found that it caused cancer to grow at an alarming rate in multiple organs: the liver, the bladder, the colon. The very same pathways it turned on to boost performance, it turns out they could also trigger runaway cell growth.
The fallout from that was immediate. The World Anti-Doping Agency, WADA, banned it for all athletes. The U.S. Anti-Doping Agency took the rare step of issuing an urgent public warning about how toxic it was. The drug has never been approved for people to use. And yet, and this is really disturbing, you can still find it for sale on the black market online, sold as a research chemical to athletes who are willing to ignore the life-threatening risks.
And this brings us to another critical reality check. Even if we manage to create a perfectly safe exercise pill someday, it will never be a true substitute for actual exercise. Sure, a pill might trigger some metabolic changes in a muscle cell. It can boost endurance, but you know what it can't do? It can't put stress on your skeleton to improve bone density. It can't challenge your brain and nervous system to improve your balance and coordination. And there's no way it can replicate the incredible mental health benefits, that rush of endorphins, the stress relief that you get from actually moving your body.
So you might be thinking, if it's risky and it can't even replace the real deal, then what's the point of all this? And this is where we need to completely reframe the conversation. The real future for these drugs isn't about giving healthy people an excuse to skip the gym. It's about creating a revolutionary therapeutic tool for people who physically can't exercise.
Just think about the possibilities here. For an elderly person dealing with sarcopenia, that's the awful muscle loss that happens as we age, a pill like this could help them keep their mobility, their independence. For someone with a spinal cord injury or a stroke survivor, it could help prevent their muscles from wasting away. There's even new research suggesting these drugs could improve energy in the brain, maybe offering a new way to fight diseases like Alzheimer's.
And that right there is the most important takeaway. The holy grail here isn't a shortcut for the fit, it's a lifeline for the frail. All this research is really focused on creating a medical treatment that can give the benefits of exercise to patients who just can't get them the normal way. This is about medicine, not convenience.
So we're left with this fascinating two-sided coin. On one side, you have the potential for a genuine medical breakthrough that could change the lives of millions of people who can't move. And on the other, you have the risk of a dangerous, misused drug for anyone looking for an easy way out. The science is definitely pushing ahead, but the question of how we as a society decide to use this powerful technology, well, that's one we're all going to have to answer. Thanks for joining me.